Time for making some conclusions about neoliberalism and its possibility as a site for critical discourse analysis. One of the defining features of neoliberalism has been an ideological displacement of agency from government to individuals. Now the individuals are considered as the masters of their own fortune. It's not the state as it was conceived after World War II who would be responsible for certain social, political, and collective growths or developments of people in general, or people in form of certain groups, maybe some racial, communal, or territorial groups. Now it's the individuals who is the site of government's direct intervention, and they are being supposedly being empowered to manage their own growth. So individuals are the site for competition. So and they are now considered to be responsible for their own fortunes. It's like fate in traditional society consciousness. Correspondingly, we can see neoliberal governance does not abandon intervention at all. As we look at various discourses about neoliberalism, we see that intervention has not been reduced or diminished at all. Rather, it has changed its stance, or it has changed its face. Now, the government has a chance to intervene into individuals' life directly and more accurately, and its sites of intervention has actually changed. So intervention has not diminished, rather it has changed the sites of action. The metaphor of the market is another conclusion can be that the metaphor of market is integral to neoliberal discourses. So we need to understand this concept of market in neoliberal discourses in order to understand them properly. So this is seen as the sole component for enabling liberty and freedom of choice for the individual. So market has become somehow a token for liberty. However, the discourses about or discourses of neoliberalism and the similar discourses about globalization leave out some very important issues. They just rhetorically promote the choices given to individual, or the possibilities of choices, enabling conditions, potentials being showered upon individuals through certain neoliberal philosophies. But there are certain core issues which remain unaddressed. For example, what kind of choices, which particular choices are being offered to individuals? We are not sure of them. And who is offering those choices, and to whom those choices are being offered, and are there any limits to those available choices, or they are absolutely free for everyone, or to any extent? So we do not get very definite or very clear answers to these questions. More importantly, who decides what or which choices are to be given to which individuals? Is it state or any other agency? If state, in what mechanism state decides it? There's still many more questions to be answered. So this part cannot be concluded absolutely. Ferguson has pointed out that many critical researchers writing about neoliberalism reach to the same unsurprising conclusion. There might be some kind of ironical stance in this argument also, that neoliberalism is bad for the working class or for the poor, and therefore we must oppose it. So he somehow argues that we need to understand neoliberal philosophy in some depth before opposing it. Some other scholars recently have raised their voices against neoliberal practices, and they say neoliberalism can be seen as the result of elites getting a new face of capitalism. So by criticizing capitalism for its certain practices, the elite, business or political lead, they have got a new face of capitalism in form of neoliberalism to protect their interests. So it's not freedom from the bad practices of capitalism, rather it's a new form of capitalism which may be more regulatory as compared to the previous one. So there has been many studies which come to the same conclusion, that the discourses about neoliberalism actually manipulate or exploit public sentiment by presenting it as a new form of governance which would empower the individuals. On the other side, they argue it can be seen as a more regulatory form of governance in which individuals are being suppressed further.